Hi, it's Ileana, and today we're going to look at the Raven Rock Military Complex in Pennsylvania. So, this is linked to the Blue Ridge Mountains. The Raven Rock Military Complex is also connected to Camp David on the other side in Maryland. This is all under the mountains. There is a series of military complexes and Black Ops bases under the Blue Ridge Mountains. From what I can see, there's about 3 to 4 bases in those areas, going all the way to Camp David. And it's Pentagon-based connections. Raven Rock is Pentagon Central. So what's interesting about Raven Rock Military Complex is that it has an underwater kind of river-like feature and a stream. So it feeds into the natural reservoir. There's a natural reservoir going under this military complex. And there's hydroponics, aquaponics facilities with fish and plants growing there, which feeds the underground facility. It provides the food for the underground facility. They have their own dining room, they have their own cafeteria, they have working spaces for personnel. It is a fully equipped underground military facility with bunkers, with different entrances, different parking, underground parking for deliveries. And the reason why I'm talking about the Raven Rock complex is because the Black Ops facility that I found with several different anti-grav crafts, different types of them, they're actually near that facility. It stretches several states. These complexes are huge. So that flight deck and hangar that I found in the back of the mountain, in the secret entrance, that is not too far away from Raven Rock complex facility. These are not the same facilities, but they span close to each other, and they're linked by that water flowing underground. This is what is close. And these facilities were done in the 1950s, 1960s. Raven Rock has antenna array that monitor things. There's a monitoring station there. There's all kinds of military personnel that stay there. The president can go down into the facility and stay there. It is equipped like a city, like an underground city, with a lot of places you can go in and out. So it's a monitoring facility. It can be a living facility. There's a lot of things there. And several years ago, there was information that came out that a truck driver was delivering supplies to the Raven Rock military complex, and he met human personnel in that facility, and he also mentioned that he met a individual, a man, who looked to be 6'8" tall, with pale white skin and pale white hair. And this man always carried a water bottle with him, never drank the water, carried the water bottle, and that he had abilities that helped to boost the immune system, to heal, to regenerate energy. Because on one of the trips, the truck driver felt sick. And the tall man, whose name is Thom, Thom, brought him something to drink and eat, which rejuvenated his sleep and made him feel better instantly. And Thom is actually a shapeshifter. He looks humanoid to be in a humanoid body, but he's actually a mantid. So humanoid-like extraterrestrials are working in military complex bases with humans to do military things on these bases and in the Black Ops operations. Again, I don't think this has anything to do with Space Force. I don't think it has anything to do with coordinated disclosure coming out soon. These are military complexes. These are Black Ops facilities. They work in secret. But the truck driver did release this information, and he had seen Thom at one of his son's wrestling exhibitions. And when the truck driver waved to Thom to acknowledge him out of politeness and respect, Thom gave him an icy glare and a stare and ignored him. And then when the truck driver went back to delivering supplies to the Raven Rock facility, Thom came up to him and said, "Never acknowledge me in public. Never speak to me in public. It's against authorization. It's against protocols. Everything we do at these bases is top secret, and it is not to be disclosed. It is not to be discussed. It is not to be out in the public. What we do here is classified." So that made an impression on the truck driver. And then after a while, he was fired from the Dominion organization, which handles the truck driving supplies going to Raven Rock. This was 12 years ago, and the truck driver was fired for insubordination, for questioning the protocols of the company, when he never, and it was weird. It was weird because the truck driver was just talking about ethics and protocols and morals of this company, and he was told he was doing insubordination. The truck driver described weird things happening near Raven Rock. People going missing there. There have been UFOs spotted at Raven Rock since 1976. Elongated type craft with orange energy around them hovering over these facilities in the Blue Ridge Mountains. So this really does paint an interesting picture. Extraterrestrials are involved with human-run military complexes and Black Ops facilities to make sure things stay classified and not revealed to the public. Now, the truck driver no longer does any type of supply runs to Raven Rock because his access was cut off. So he wouldn't see strange things, obviously, at that particular military complex. But he was in the underground complex itself. He saw the functioning of the facilities. Usually cars are parked in the underground parking system. And there's, again, tunnels, double reinforced doors, steel double reinforced doors on these types of military complexes. And I saw in my remote viewing double reinforced steel doors. made out of metallic rock-like material on the entrance to the Black Ops facility, an advanced DUMS facility with the mind control devices, systems, and the Dew's weapons, plus the anti-grav crafts, and I could hear the water rushing underground near the flight deck, near the hangar deck. So there was rushing water. I could hear it. It was in a different place outside the hangar, but I could hear it. So I think this has a connection to Raven Rock military complex, Camp David, and other facilities in those areas. There's humanoid-looking extraterrestrials that are pale, tall, white skin, white hair, who are shapeshifters, and their true form is that of mantids. Mantid shapes, and they are involved with human personnel in underground bases and military Black Ops facilities, but they want to keep things classified and not coming out as forms of disclosure. So I think there's stuff going on that is where the extraterrestrials are influencing human military, and they're perhaps even certain types of handlers influencing humans in different capacities, handlers that are of extraterrestrial nature who can shapeshift and look like humans when they're not. And they're working behind the scenes in these classified facilities. They're working behind the scenes with contactees to influence them, to report on things, to bring forth information. Whether that information is accurate, whether it's true, that remains to be seen. But this is what is happening behind the scenes. And I do believe this truck driver. I really do believe him, because I could hear the rushing water in the underground Black Ops complex that I was remote viewing. I remote viewed it twice, so I could hear that water. And then I did a lot of research, the history of Raven Rock, Camp David, Camp Ritchie. There's also Camp Ritchie. And I saw the huge structures, the carved out structures, and the slats, the metal slats, and how these underground military complexes are built. And that's the same thing that I saw in that hangar deck and that flight deck. I saw huge metal-like beams in this hangar deck, flight deck. And that's how Camp David, Camp Ritchie, Raven Rock was built in similar ways. And they had machines coming in underground, carving the walls out. So the walls are smooth, made out of metallic rock type, reinforced alloys. This is what I saw in the remote viewing, and it's public. There's actually pictures of how these bases were built underground. This is public. So my remote viewing is accurate in what I saw underground. Now again, I didn't see any human personnel. I didn't see any ETs in the Black Ops facility that I was remote viewing. But there's things happening next door in Raven Rock and other facilities. But it's not what it seems. It's something else. And I think that's important to report on for me from what I've been able to research and find, and what's happening, what's really happening underground, under our own feet. I do think that all of these military complexes and black ops underground facilities linked to the Blue Ridge Mountains, I think that is all linked to NORAD and other defense military systems in North America. And those military installations very much have computer systems that track and monitor UFO activities and UFO crafts. So they know which extraterrestrials are coming to Earth and what they're doing on Earth. Because NORAD does track UFOs. They have the technology to do that. Stephen Greer had revealed that last year, and I had remote viewed NORAD, and I saw the extensive computer systems and radar tracking that they have to monitor the different UFO crafts and the various species coming to Earth. They have that ability and they do that. So it's not surprising that there would be anti-gravity crafts, those circular drones and the TR-10 looking triangular craft in the Black Ops military facility in the hangar deck and flight deck that I had seen in the back of the mountain, where the secret hiking trail is with the double reinforced steel doors with very tight security, obviously. So not just anybody can enter these military facilities or even stumble upon them. It is classified, it is military, it is Black Ops, and there is extraterrestrial presence in these military facilities, working with human military personnel on classified things, operations underground. That is happening, that is real. I don't think this is heading towards disclosure. Personally, this is my personal opinion. It is not heading towards disclosure. I don't think Galactic Federation of Worlds is working with U.S. Space Force or military to coordinate upcoming disclosure efforts. I don't think that's what these facilities are doing. I do think they're secretly working with extraterrestrials for their own top classified military projects that have to do with the creation of exotic technology, other types of experimentation, genetic projects, and other things they do in these bases. And they've been doing this since the 1940s, 30s, 50s, 60s. There is a secret space program network on the moon and Mars that are offshoots of these Black Ops operations, even more advanced ones. And this is all real. This is real. This is happening now. This is under our feet. This exists. These military facilities are also testing mind control devices, platform arrays, columns that can mind control with microwave frequencies and other invisible spectrums of frequency and waveform technology. That's what they're experimenting on. Mind control technology in these facilities, and huge dish antennas, energy weapons, DEWs that are invisible. They can target anything or anyone with these DEWs and destroy anything or mind control something. They have special anti-grav crafts that can monitor normal U.S. Navy ships, both the air jets, military jets, and the U.S. Navy ocean military craft in the water, various platforms on the water. They can monitor that. They can interact with it. It's advanced anti-grav craft that are being produced in these military bases. And they are flying above the U.S. Navy. Exercises conducted on the warships, in the ocean, and with the air jets. So this is happening, and it's all being tested on the normal U.S. military personnel and crafts with their own anti-grav technology that is produced in these secret bases. Some of it is under the Blue Ridge Mountains. There is actual stats and evidence that people have gone missing near Raven Rock military complex. Just people disappearing. Just in Canada, people disappearing around Harrison Lake and Fire Mountain after they've seen UFOs, hunters hunting elk, male hunters. So the phenomenon is real. There's UFO sightings, there's disappearances around military facilities, both in the US and in Canada. It's in the Missing 411 stats and documentaries about people going missing in UFO hotspots. And it's not surprising that this stuff also happens around military bases or secret military complexes or black ops operations and facilities built into the mountains underground. Cheyenne Mountain, Raven Rock military complex, Camp Ritchie, Camp David, everything, NORAD facilities, everything is linked underground by tunnel systems where Humvee type tanks can be driven through these tunnel systems. It's all interconnected. Supplies can be delivered. Human personnel working with extraterrestrial shapeshifters on classified military projects. That is happening. This is the state we're living in, and it's all top secret. But because of certain influences, this is slowly coming out in disclosure, as you cannot keep these secrets hidden forever. Eventually, they do come out one way or another through certain influences, and it's not always as it seems, but the information is still coming out. It is coming forward. You can't keep the secret forever. The biodome facilities and the bases on the moon and Mars have self-sustainable hydroponics and aquaponics gardens that don't need soil to grow plants and food, similar what is in Raven Rock, in that underground military facility. So they figured out how to grow food without needing soil. Food can be grown more naturally and organically with hydroponics and aquaponics, where you have fish and other nutrients, where you don't need to have soil. Instead, you have it grow in water from water reservoirs. This has been done. It's a self-sustainable way of growing food. So this is what I find interesting, similar from the Raven Rock facility and on the biodomes on Mars and the moon, the hydroponics and aquaponics gardens. I've talked about this in my books. I've seen that type of food growing without needing soil, and it is being done, and it was done in the 1960s in the Raven Rock facility, military facility. And that hydroponics, aquaponics type of a system of growing food with water and fish, that's connected to the natural reservoir under Raven Rock, going to that stream that feeds the water to the reservoir. And I think that's what I was hearing. I was feeling and seeing the water rushing. didn't go to look at that particular aspect of how it connects to these facilities. I was focusing more on the anti-gravity crafts. I was focusing on looking at the tanks, at the DEWs, and at the mind control devices, and what the military Black Ops complex itself looked like, the structure of it, the construction of it, and what's inside the mountain range itself. So I wasn't focusing on the water, which is an important aspect. And that's what the truck driver was describing. And it seems to be a very crucial aspect of the Raven Rock facility in how it feeds the whole complex, how they grow their food. And that's important how it's done on Mars as well, in the biodomes, through the hydroponics, aquaponics, growing food and water, and not needing soil and not requiring the soil to grow the food. That is important. And I wanted to mention this aspect of the remote viewing of the target. The water is important. And now we know how it links up to Raven Rock, to that facility, and its significance. As well, I don't think that it's a coincidence that me seeing those TR-type triangular shaped craft with sort of circular rounding at the back of it, because the front was triangular with some kind of plexiglass type windows, viewing windows. So front was triangular, the back was starting triangular, then sort of curved, roundish curved, then going back to the triangular aspect of the craft, then seeing these circular drones that can fit 1 to 2 people, and the TR-10 type craft can fit like almost 300 to 400 people to pilot these things, or a couple of people, depending what these mission parameters are for. The remote control drones can lift and hover. They have wheels of some sort that also retract within the craft. I didn't see any wheels under the TR-10s. It was almost like it has maybe struts or something that, and they hover more so than on wheels or struts. Perhaps struts can come out for liftoff or landing, but I didn't see any underneath. And they were black. The TR-10s were sort of black, dark silver, gray and black, whereas the remote control drones that you could put 1 or 2 people to fly in them, to pilot them if you wanted, those were more like lighter silver, grayish, not black. The TR-10s had a reflective sheen, metallic sheen outside, which is, I think it's cloaking, shielding technology to shield them. So radar don't pick up on what this craft is when it's flying in the sky or outside of Earth orbit. They are capable of doing that. I think these crafts are being produced in these Black Ops underground facilities, not just in Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin Skunk Works. I think reverse engineered craft are also built in military bases, military complexes, Black Ops facilities, like what I saw under Blue Ridge Mountain in that military complex, in that hangar deck, flight deck. And it was a huge facility, big, almost 75 feet tall. That's what I saw in the remote viewing. These types of crafts, anti-grav crafts that they're building, in these military facilities, that is what people are reporting as UFOs. This is what military personnel are reporting seeing from their air jets, from their military jets, when they go to investigate these crafts, or when these crafts appear near the jets during military exercises. Those exercises are being watched and monitored by the secret military operations and factions coming out of these underground facilities. Black Ops, that's what that is. They're interacting with normal US military, Navy, Army exercises. And more of these crafts are being reported because this is exotic anti-gravity technology that the classified portions of the US military, Navy has. Top secret. And they worked with extraterrestrials, human-like looking extraterrestrials, to develop these technologies. Since the 1980s, they're developing this off-world on the moon and Mars. There's underground bases on the moon and Mars. There's domed bases. Again, there's domed bases protected by electromagnetic fields on the moon and Mars. This goes beyond Earth, beyond the Earth scope, these operations. They go off-world. This is our reality. So I just wanted to share that today. Thank you so much, and namaste.